Welcome back to Stationeers. It's time to take a look at the gas storage system we've got going. I just ripped out the walls just so to give you a brief review of what we previously did, or if you haven't seen that episode, then I guess this will be a new update. So I've got a filtration system on the roof, and it filters out each of the separate gases: nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, CO2, and outside we've got water and pollutant, which I don't really need. Water I am going to need, but that's just separate. It's just whoops, here we've got a big tank of water essentially, and that's up to 3 kPa, 3,000 kPa I should say. And there's my input to my automatic furnaces. So we're going to be revisiting this setup in this episode. One thing that I should probably want to do wherever I put these canisters, and I may well leave them in this room, but if I do, they need to remain hooked up to the rest of the system wherever it's stored. And also we want these pressure regulators. So this is going to make sure that if any canisters are put in here for me to refill, and this is exactly what this one is. You see it's 7950, and that is 7950. So it will keep air, and I've got 7,000 in my current tank, that's fine. It will keep oxygen nicely pressurized for our canisters, which is exactly what we need. However, don't do this if you want that oxygen fast. The pressure regulators are not terribly quick. And do I still have my analyzer? I do. So yeah, you can see it's nicely pressurized. There's relatively little N2. There's a tiny amount in it, like a millimole. But above here, if I just use my jetpack, you'll see that the pressure is lower. Hopefully you see it on camera. It's a bit jerky because I have to keep jetpacking. In fact, I can actually have a look at this pipe behind here. That should be the same one. Yeah, there we go. So there's a little bit of nitrogen in this section, but it's not actually behind the regulator. It's only in front of the regulator right there, you see. Behind it is just pure oxygen and 1.8 kilomoles. So nice there. Nitrogen, yeah, we don't really have all that much nitrogen, to be fair. Can I see what's in the pipe? This pipe network? Yeah, so how many moles? 164 moles of N2 oxygen is in there. Wow, that's mixed somehow. I think I've got a pipe error. I need to fix that, but I won't need to fix it just yet. We'll fix it once we've got all the gas storage. I think I've got a wrong input up there somewhere. Someone mentioned in a previous video. Before we go on, I wanted to just look at this. I'm going to put more of those pressure regulators to keep these all pressurized. They're roughly the same amount if we can, so that we can take any of these gases whenever we want. However, moving down, we've got the oxygen running off to that temporary tank that I've got ahead of the pressurization system, and we've got a return coming back from the other side. So we've got in and out, if you like, there. I'm going to build a building below here with more permanent storage. So we're going to want to extend like a T-junction, just like that one is right there, the oxygen coming down. We're going to want to do that for each of the 4 gases, or 5 gases, depending on which ones we want. And then we're going to bring them down to a room somewhere down here that we can store them in the bigger tanks. Now, I have a bit of an exploration update for you from my base. I thought, oh, there's this little void here. I wonder if it's a cave system I can get some ores in. How much propellant do I have? Let me just actually take a save, just in case I run out of propellant here, because this is a cave system. So let me just pop down. You'll see down there. Wow, yeah, there's light. I don't think that's anything I've dropped. I think that's just a bit of an artifact. But if I turn on my if I don't need to turn on my jetpack, let's just descend. So we're already into one cave system, so we're quite far below the ground. But then you'll see there's more, and another cave system. And here's where I need to turn on my jetpack, because the ground starts to get a little bit cracked, and then ooh, there's lava. So I'm gonna say that's instant death. I'm not gonna no. But that's how far down the world goes. Just in case you haven't actually dug straight down, there is sort of lava down there. So if I were you, I would be a little bit conservative about having a really deep base, at least for the moment. And how much propellant do I have? Oh, I didn't use all that much. Okay, I'm safe. So I'm going to go and build this building, and then we'll look at extending that pipework down. And once we've done that, we'll come back and take a look at storing in some tanks and probably hooking up. There's a couple of ways to hook up to the tanks. And I showed the fact we can have LED displays last episode. In fact, we can just pop inside and drop down. I think I'm either going to use LED displays or I'm going to use, I've just ripped out a lot of the walls. I'm either going to use that or I'm going to use consoles. And I've got both of them in use in the base for different purposes. Let's pop down. So we could have two consoles like this, one either side of, I don't know, the tank, which is looking like that. It might look quite nice. It'd be nice if it could fit into one block space. So maybe in front of the tank, because we don't really need to interact with the tank at all. You know, as long as we have temperature and pressure and any other data, we can pull the data out of this front data port, and the side one we can just send backwards and up into our bell and into the filtration system. So we might be able to fit this theoretically between, you know, like 1 by 1 per tank. But I'll give that a go. I think what I'll probably also account for is maybe having them either slightly below or slightly above everything else, just so that we can have some more space for electronics if we need to do some more advanced control. So I'm going to go and build that. I won't show that on camera because there's a lot of fiddly work. I just want to give you a basic overview of the principles I'm going for, and then we'll come back for construction of the final bits and pieces. Okay, we're about 5 or 6 blocks below our canisters now. You can see, obviously, I've starting to construct the room. And yeah, this is the kind of size that I actually want for this thing. If we have a tank in front of me at this level, then I have plenty of room above it, or we can move the tank up one and then have, you know, electronics inside this block. Inside this block, I should say, right here. Something along those lines. Maybe 3 deep, something like that. Don't have to make it excessively big. It's more that we're just going to need lots of permanent tanks potentially in the future. And you know, when you're looking at tanks and consoles and you're thinking, oh, I need a gold. Well, headed out away from my base to build an entrance. Turns out I've got a gold mine under my base. So I'm not too unhappy with that. I will take the gold. That isn't objectionable. And I'm going to keep on. I may have to mine up more of this than I was originally intending, just to get the gold. I think I want to smelt that up because if we go around consoles or even LED displays, I think they need 2G of gold per display or per console, whichever one we use. It doesn't really matter that much. They're both the same construction kit. Oh, and we did get a couple of comments from the last episode saying that if I wanted to build the medium or large displays, you need multiple kits. That doesn't seem right to me. I'd rather it be a single kit and then I have to actually add more ingredients, much like the other systems in the game. You know, if you have different types of things, that the actual ingredients that you add to them is more expensive. It doesn't make sense to have multiple kits, or at least just rename it so it doesn't say kits. You know, it could say LED segment or something along those lines, and you have to build multiple up. Anyway, just a pet peeve, and I'm back to mining and filling out the rest of this room, I think. And just another miscellaneous update when I'm partway through the build. This is my furnace room, and it is actually cooking up furnaces. I just want to show, cooking up ores. I just wanted to show, you can see, hopefully in the video, yeah, there you go. You can see all the gas that's actually coming out of these. So we are going to need to handle that just at some point. I have this wonderful cave system here that's acting as a heat sink, or a heat dump, almost. That's right all the way down there. And it's just sucking all the gas out and keeping the pressure really low. But as you can see, it's 12 degrees in here, even with a tiny amount of pressure. Of course, as we come up towards the base, it's not really a danger at the moment because it's just not building up here. You can see the pressure is still 0. And as we drop down to our main area, so does the temperature. You know, so down here, it is a little warm for space, but not much of a problem. There isn't much pressure. I guess if it is actually sealed down there, I guess then pressure would actually build up to a certain degree. What does our atmospheric analyzer say? Yeah, so it's mostly, in fact, it's nearly all contaminants, but we are getting a little bit of nitrogen out of there, 0.1 mole. So it may be worth, you know, capturing this in the future. Well, we can do the same thing as the main base room if you really want to. You can just put an active vent in a tank and it will happily capture all of this stuff and we can put it back through the filtration system. Of course, it is actually high temperature by comparison to, you know, the background vacuum, but that's not much of a problem. You know, we can always deal with it at some point later. Actually expanding into this volume will decrease that temperature from the furnace greatly, and then we can just passively take it out as long as this room is big enough. it shouldn't be an issue, I would hope. There's some more gold. And can I just put it through the stacker just to keep everything compacted? Crank the handle. There we go. Could have swore I had more iron than that. I don't think this is triggering. I think I had a problem somewhere. There's nothing wrong with the electronics. I just had a problem with the power to these. And it's caused some reset issue. I'll solve it later. So as you can see, I've been mining a little bit. We've got plenty of iron, which we're going to need for all this pipe work. And I'm going to set some pipe work off making, because we're going to be doing some stuff very shortly. I have now dropped some of the tanks downstairs. We'll go and take a look at those in a second. It's going to be relatively simple to hook them up. We're not going to need much complicated setup. We're just going to need to put some electronics in place just to monitor or give me an idea of what they're up to. So let's do it oxygen first, and I won't show the rest on camera because it's going to be pretty simple, to be honest. I've already ran the oxygen off for the main part of the... No damage. I've already run the oxygen for the main part of the base, which goes that way into the base. And the return out of the base, once it comes through the system, comes out here, all the way over there. And that goes up to the filtration system up at the top. Let's take a quick look at that, because there was one correction that one of the commenters told me about, and I was definitely wrong. I had a bit of a brain freeze when I hooked this up here. This was previously running into the output after the first filtration unit. Make sure you put it into the input before any of them, otherwise you wouldn't filter out whatever's in this this first filtration unit, which in this case is a nitrogen filter. So that's a constant flow coming back once our base is pressurized, and the other one is just coming from the furnaces after they pass through the radiators, and even after the cooling system has dealt with them, i.e. the smart valve. So it's not going to release into the system until it's below a certain temperature. And I have been doing some smelting. Has that actually triggered over here? It looks like it's on. So it is actually trying to dump, and I think it's down to 0, so that's fine for now. Okay, so in here we've got all these tanks. We're going to colour them if they can be coloured. Do I have a spray can on me? I don't think I do. I've got one upstairs if I need to. But we'll have one in the centre for oxygen, probably CO2 on the left, because hydroponics is going to be out that way. And yes, hydroponics is probably going to be the next episode if I can. We're going to need a few things for that. We're going to need an airlock because I don't want to have to evacuate and kill plants if they are sensitive to no gas, i.e. vacuum. We're going to need some electronics. We're going to need some heaters to keep the plants warm. And we're going to need CO2 at least. And then an output to the filtration system at the top. And then they'll come back through here. But we definitely want to make sure the gas is not freezing when it comes into the room, or at least the room is kept at a certain temperature. So more of that temperature control we did previously. So the electronics for the hydroponics will be probably combinations of what we've done already. We have to put quite a few systems into place. Also, we're going to need water, and I've got water going into a portable tank upstairs, and that's on purpose so that I can drag that across to the hydroponics. I'm just going to leave it in a portable tank input for the moment. But if we have, I don't know, water and CO2, either way around for those two, oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, and then we don't really need pollutants, but I guess we could put an extra tank in, maybe just one of those portable tanks, and if I need to get rid of it, you know, we can always evacuate it really easily. I don't think we have any kind of valve on these that we can evacuate them. So, you know, if we're going to want to get rid of some of these gases, then we're going to need some kind of vent and then dump out to vacuum if we want to do that in the future. Well, I hope we will. As far as I know, these don't really have a pressure check, so they can go up as high as you want. Why am I falling down? They can go as high as you want, so I don't have to take as much care with them, as long as we get the filtration system to input to them, and then we'll have to have a look at what we do as far as the outputs to them, or from them. So from each one, we've got a data port, which we're going to pull into the front for electronics, and then on the side, we've got the tank's input itself. In this case, we're going to... I was going to do it input like this, but I think what I'm going to do for sort of safety reasons in the future is just not put one of those there, but put a T-junction in place. And then maybe at the front, facing down. So something along this line, so that I can have, say, a pressure regulator after this point, or a backflow, a back pressure regulator. I can build in a something before and after this tank, just, to keep things safe. I do recommend doing that kind of thing. So I'm going to do that with the others, and I'm going to see if I can spray paint them. But let's start off by doing the oxygen tank. All right, so let's go for consoles, at least at first, and we can obviously fill those in with custom displays if we want to, the same cost. So let's have a look. Consoles. What variants? Yeah, we've got console dual, so we can take power on one side and data on the other. That actually might be decent here, because we only really, those don't need power, so we might need, let's say, one here and one here, something like that. And then we can get the circuit board for gas displays in both of them. And I've forgotten some glass sheets. Let's go and grab that. And we can then use those to monitor our oxygen tank. Let's see if I get some glass sheets. Do I have enough cable coils? I never have enough cable coils. I guess not. Let's just build some more up here. Just take some copper. You already set the cable coils. You probably... copper. Already set the cable coils. Yes, let's build some of those. While I, what was I up here for? Glass sheets? Yeah, let's just grab those. And by this point, it will have done one of the cable coils just for these two consoles. Let's wait for 20. It won't take very long at all. 17, 18, 19, and one more. Okay. And let's pop downstairs through the easily accessible holes in my floor. There we go. See, it's easy to get down here. And while I'm at it, let's just actually take this back off again, just so that we can see we've got power coming in through the back. So can I take it off again? So I don't have to worry about that. And I'm going to bring through power. I'm going to bring it through with straight, I think, because the ports for these are underneath now. Yeah, and then we can bring the last one up on top with a junction. We should be able to rotate it. And of course, we'll cover these with the composite walls once everything's done, so it will be quite nifty, I think. And a console, just one more corner. There we go. Can we cover those in? Where's my glass sheets? There you go. And then we're going to need to connect it to the data tank, but that's fine too. We can just get the cable from there. I guess we just go straight cable for this one. Do I just need to step up there for a second? Probably. And then we can come right over the top. And a junction. And one corner on each one. That should do the job. And my my jetpack's still on, but that's okay too. Yeah, so let's just turn you both on. And why I've not got power? I thought I connected power. Cable, 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 cable. Looks like I've got power. Cable, cable, all the way to here. That looks right. Why have I no power? Is everything else taking up in too much power for this? I guess we can just up the transformer just to see. Is it 2500 at the moment? Let's just up it to 3500. Shouldn't burn out any cables until we hit 5k. Then we're going to have to do something more serious. Do I have my network analyzer? I do. So I'm going to grab that and bounce our way down here again, hopefully with no damage. Grab this. It's set to atmospheric at the moment, so let's just drop you guys. Grab this. And then flip those out. Drop the atmos analyzer and turn this on. Devices 0 on unpowered. So there's power's coming from the bottom. Are you? Yeah. Actual required potential. Why aren't you powering up? Sort of helps if you don't build them upside down. Yep. Switch should be on the right hand side. Let's just grab you and grab the glass sheets, and hopefully you'll now build and turn on. Will you turn on? You will. Okay, so we do need our data disk as normal. Let's just grab that and let's tell it what to read, I guess. So small tank or console dual makes slave. Interesting. I wonder what make slave does. We can have a look at that. But let's look at small tank and the pressure, temperature. Yeah, just pressure or temperature. Let's set this side to temperature. Minus 58 degrees. All right. And taking these things apart is sort of a working out by itself, because you have to remember which tools go and do what. And it's a crowbar first. Then we can drop the gas display. Oh, is my portable light gone out? No, my batteries. I've got to turn on the head torch. Okay, we'll sort that one soon as well. And yeah, I just need to deconstruct the rest of this. So back to the bare bones. Console dual, rotate you. Good. All right, console dual. Put in the. Have I just? Oh, is that really just me doing that? Yeah, it's definitely the right way around now. Good. I'm going crazy. There we go, and the data disk. Flip reads on, we're in pressure mode, we're going to look at the small tank. In fact, let's actually look, let's take you out. So we've got pressure of 165 kPa. I'm not sure that's right, you know. Where's my handheld tablet again? Let's put this away. I didn't need the network analyzer as it turned out. I was just being stupid. Yes. Atmospheric analyzer. How much is in that tank? Oh no, that is right. That is right. Why is it dropping? Is it just temperature? Could be. I thought I had more than that, but no, that's fine. Okay, pressure is fine. Let's just actually take a quick look at what that makes slave does. Does it just repeat this so that if you want it somewhere else as well, that might be one thing. So let's just, not like a drill. Let's get the data disk and let's say, make this a slave. Yeah, that looks like what it does. So this is just a mirror of whatever this is going to be set to. So let's take that back off again. And of course, we're going to have to set this one back up. That's okay. Temperature for the small tank. And of course, we're probably going to want to name those tanks so that we don't have any problems. But now, of course, we can get some iron sheets, some welding going on. There we go. And each one of those we can do like that. I'm not going to show that on camera. What I am going to just think about now is just what to do with our output, because that's coming from our filtration system. I do have that canister on it just so we can refill handily in that room up there. So that's still on the input. And there's a regulator up there keeping that canister at 7K in terms of pressure. But down here we have this. So now I think this needs to go back to our system. So you can see it's coming down here. I've not finished spray painting yet. You can't seem to spray paint when it's in the very corners of blocks like that. Slightly annoying, but other than that, it's fine. And you may be able to see I've cut it off from the input to the main room over there. So I'm going to remove all of that all that pipe down to about this corner, right about here. All that stuff. And then we'll link that to this. And maybe have some kind of shut-off valve or some kind of safety. And these storage tanks do spray paint just fine, as do indeed the iron frames. So we can spray paint you orange. Let's say that's H2. And we've got green for nitrogen. Let's just say we want, I don't know, blue for water. seems reasonable. And there's no real color I would associate with CO2. It's colourless, so let's just go for pink, shall we? And that will do. There's also a brown, I guess we could go, because brown's going to go, I guess, with hydroponics. So I may well go for that. But we've got lots of tanks in multiple colours, and I'm just going to fill in between the episodes, the rest of these consoles. In fact, what can I do it now? Well, I could probably do it now. I'll do it off camera, though. Okay, so they're all hooked up now. We've got the pressure on. The temperature ones are missing because just I ran out of gold. There's some over here. I need to craft more gold. Gold. Turn the drill on. Gold. Yeah, I do need to craft that, but that should do just fine. So I need gold for the circuit boards. I've got plenty of glass sheets, of course. And I've just hooked the pressure ones at the moment. Obviously, they're not connected to the gas lines yet because all that's repetitive. I'm not going to show that on camera. You get the idea. This is the oxygen return line. That's going to go into our base where it's going to get pressurized. There is another oxygen tank down, though, which I'm going to remove. Just pump all the oxygen out of it and back through the filtration system. And then we should see this going forward. I think further expansions to this, I'm currently assuming that I'm just going to dump X, the pollutants, into either another tank hidden somewhere, or indeed just into vacuum. And we'll then start to add other inputs to our filtration system. Now we've got large scale storage rather than just those little tiny canisters. And I think what I'm probably going to do with this room as well, as I'm completing it, or as I'm filling in the walls, which is boring enough for you two guys to see, so there's my portal down to hell again. I'm probably going to leave a sort of maintenance tunnel space behind the scenes, just so I can run through that and then just have a door to shut it. And whenever we pressurize, I don't have to worry about it too much because it's going to be under vacuum or something along those lines anyway. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed this one. Let's pop upstairs. I'll complete the structure off camera with some more stairs, like a switchback kind of stair system there. And then next episode, I think we're on to hydroponics. I think I'm going to build a structure out there because I know there's some iron underneath that, so I may as well, cover this over with iron frames and then get the iron out of the ground. And we're going to need a few things for that. I'm not sure if the plants actually do need daylight at the moment, but I think I'm going to assume that they will in the future. So I think I'm going to use these window blocks as the roof, just in case, because we are going to need something pressurized. And then we're going to have heaters probably on this wall, and it's going to go from front to back. So as I'm going to walk in this way through an airlock of some kind, and then into the hydroponics bay. And on this side, probably a CO2 line from our tank down there. CO2 is going to go in, and we need to keep it heated, and we need to have some water. And of course, we've got this portable tank, which I'm going to use temporarily. I don't think I'm going to need to hook up a lot of water. It uses a very, very tiny amount of moles of water per, do I have my atmospheric thing? No, I don't. Per tick. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that because I don't want to have to mine ice too much. It is a bit of a pain at the moment. Anyway, hope you'll enjoy this one. Give it a thumbs up if you have, and we'll see you next episode. So thanks for watching.